No, we're going to take that. So I don't know what, I think it was just trying to make that right-hand turn there. So we'll go ahead and take it. And we had this Kia merge. We've got an 18-wheeler behind us. Test FSD 13.2.9 slowed down a little bit to let the Kia merge in. So we did make it over in time for our exit here. We should exit, and we don't. We miss our exit. That was our exit. So there's the turn lane, and it's going to go into it. So we are going to disengage. We'll report it. Hello, and welcome to the cockpit of my Tesla Model X. Today we're going to make a quick rundown into Irving, Texas. It is a weekday, so hopefully we run into some traffic. I know that it's a little darker than usual, but that's the point. We want to see how FSD does outside of perfect operating conditions. So we are running FSD 13.2.9 on hardware 4. We're going to be running in a hurry setup with the 50% offset. And so those are all the tech details that you need to know. And with that, let's get on the road. So right off the bat, 13.2.9, man, I swear it listens to me. I was just getting ready to call out that if it sees an object in the path, it's going to wait and hesitate, and you've got to nudge it a little bit. But apparently, the folks over at Tesla are listening, and they didn't want that to go down on the old YouTube channel. So I think we had plenty of room to make that. So right out of the bat, just a little fun wonkiness happening in this parking lot here as we get the drive started this morning. I'd mentioned in another video that I'd scratched one of my wheels. It was my fault. I completely did it. So I'll tell you what, as goofy as it might look, I would so much rather FSD, pause, back up, add another point to the turn than scratch one of these wheels. That would be inexcusable. All right, so coming up to Main Street here, we're going to take a right here and swing around on Fish Trap, as you can see here. Just kind of working our way out of these little communities onto the highway. Traffic might be a little lighter today just because it's the day after a holiday. So if I'm driving here, I'd probably go on down to 380. But in any case, I love how FSD kind of rolls those yellows. And I don't know, hey, if you're a police officer in the United States, let me know if that maneuver is illegal. So the way that I understand it to work, that there's this portion of the intersection that your car has to be through when it turns red in order for it to be a legal move. I'm pretty sure that was legal. But anyway, I love how FSD doesn't just slam on the brakes when it sees a yellow light. It seems to be very aware of the situation, and I appreciate that it rolls them. Because man, there are a lot of yellow lights in the world. You know that? You ever notice? Like I feel like I catch them all, every one of them, just all the time. So we're just kind of pre-dawn here. The sun is starting to kind of come up. We'll probably see a little bit more of that on the drive this morning. So there's a lot more light out right now than I thought, but of course I don't know how that's going to come through on the video. I think it's going to be just fine. it was my intention to head out this morning when it was dark. Now, I've made a couple of videos in the dark, and I'll tell you a couple of things. One, you all don't seem to like them. People aren't clicking on them, and that's cool. I get it. But one of the things that I was curious about before I started using FSD was, man, can this thing do this at night? And the short answer is yes, absolutely it can. The longer answer is it makes more mistakes. But anyway, if you want to see a video in the dark, and I know it's dark, but you'll still be able to see the road. I'll call things out. I'll still be here walking you through it. If you want to see a video in the dark, let me know. I'll make a good one. We'll make a good run into the city when it's dark, and you can see how FSD behaves when the visibility is somewhat reduced because of lighting situations. Comment below. I've recently received some feedback that you all think that it would be more engaging if there were a camera looking at me. You want to see my face. And I'll tell you, I've got the second camera and it's coming, but right now it's a secret. And now that's not a test. I know you tech savvy people can go out there and figure it out. Not a test, but for right now, it's a secret. So I also want to know, I've been experimenting with some other editing features. You may have noticed it in some of the other videos if you've seen it. Like when we sit at lights like this, I have been kind of fast forwarding the video, maybe dropping a little soundtrack. Do you like that? Or do you want to sit here with me and experience this in raw speed the whole video? Let me know. Looking for your feedback. So an interesting surprise right out of the gate here. I've taken this drive many, many times, and I've never seen French Settlement pop up here on the map. So I have no idea what that road is or where we're even going, but that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of using FSD. I'm not in a hurry. I'm just enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the technology. So if we go down French Settlement, we'll do it together for the first time because I've never been there. So I have to keep clearing my throat. I've still got morning, and it's just me and the camera. So I have this new tool that I'm using to help me kind of edit through the audio of these things. And so I'll drop a little cue that says, hey, edit this out. And I'm hoping, I haven't tested it yet, that it'll find the spots where I say edit it out so I can go to it directly and edit it out. If that works, I'm telling you what, we might have just discovered the best content creator assistant on the planet for you content creators out there. So yeah, here's the left-hand turn. You know what? I wonder why it's doing that. We must have some serious traffic up here. Let's see. I really have no idea what's happening here. Oh, nag just pinged me. So in 13.2.9, I've noticed the nag is a little less, but it just pinged me here. Maybe out. Huh. No, we're going to take that. So I don't know what, I think it was just trying to make that right-hand turn there. It was really slowing down. It probably would have worked its way over, which would have been, yeah, no, that was sloppy. That was a little dirty. So first of all, it didn't need to make that turn there. I don't see any traffic situations up ahead here. But it waited super long to kind of get over, which is the way FSD works. Usually it's not a problem, but we had quite a lot of traffic behind us, and it waited to the last second there and really wanted to kind of move over and take that right-hand turn there. Two things. One, unnecessary. We didn't need to make the right-hand turn. And number two, it was just really going to disrupt traffic behind me if I let it continue. So critical disengagement, I don't know. I don't think so. I chose to not let it do that maneuver. I think it was unnecessary. As you can see, there's no traffic here, no reason not to just come down to the light. I wonder if I have something in the settings that's influencing that behavior. If traffic would have been stacked here on El Dorado, that would have been an acceptable move. Yeah, so I'll actually go back and check the tape on that too. I didn't have my cameras up, so you can't see how much traffic was behind me, but that was just a messy move all the way around. So we'll knock it there. That was not good behavior. Bad FSD. But it's also a good demonstration of how easy it is for you to still be a human in the seat and make a decision to take control. And all I did was grab a hold of the wheel and press the FSD button here, and it disengages, and I have it. I immediately accelerated. The people behind me got a little frustrated, and that's unfortunate. That's not typical in my experiences with FSD. So if it would have gotten over more timely, I would have just let it take the turn. I don't know why it wanted to. Maybe it wanted to take the scenic route. But yeah, so that's, we'll mark that as a disengagement. I need to get better at sending those clips to Tesla. So when you do take over, it pops up and you can send a little recording to Tesla. And I wish I had, because I'd love for them to kind of analyze the data around that. Like what kind of inspired that decision? Because it was unnecessary, and two, like it was just not, I don't want to say unsafe, but it was definitely borderline unsafe. Like you don't want to come to a stop when the speed limit's 55 miles an hour. And that is a cue, I think, and I know it's kind of fuzzy logic, right? But I've noticed that FSD likes to wait until usually about 0.3 miles, sometimes 0.2 miles to start negotiating over to make a turn. And I just think that's a little too hurried. 0.5 miles might be too much depending on traffic situations and conditions, but 0.2, 0.3, that's pushing it where you've got a lot of traffic. Just back that off a little bit and work your way over a little sooner. And it's the right thing to do anyhow. How many times have you all been sitting like in a long line of turn-only traffic and you've got this guy that flies by and cuts in? Well, FSD does that. And I don't like it. I be courteous, get in line, wait your turn kind of thing, So there's a balance there. Sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's not. Humming along, 71, 70, and a 50. Going with the flow of traffic, I'm completely okay with it. And so here again, it's doing a weird thing. Now, usually traffic does build up here, but this just seems silly and unnecessary to me. So I'm not gonna let it do this. That's weird, and it'll be a fun experiment too, because this is me as a human overriding this decision. So I will take it when we get up on this light. I don't want to do that. I wish there were a way I could just say, no, do this instead. We're fine with sitting in traffic that builds up here at this highway intersection. This is I-35. I think. I'm gonna be a liar. Anyway, yeah, we're not gonna do all that. So we'll take it here, nagging at me. And we'll just sit in the traffic. It'll be fine. Yeah, you can see it building up a little bit there, but we're not going to do all that craziness there. So we'll go ahead and take it. I don't want to take that left-hand turn there. I wish there were a way for me to tell it to go straight. I wanted to go with a different route. Okay, so there I just sent that off to Tesla. See, the traffic's not even that terrible here. I need to check the settings. I don't appreciate all that maneuvering around for no good reason. If you know of a setting that maybe I've overlooked somewhere that's telling or helping FSD kind of make that decision, let me know, because I'm going to change it. I know that we're allowing highways here, but yeah, traffic's not terrible here. That would have been silly to do all that running around. Just a little bit of orange. So not a critical disengagement, but I'll still count it as a disengagement. I mean, the point is you want to be able, you want the car to be able to completely drive itself without the human sitting in the driver's seat here. So that's certainly not a decision I would have made as a human. I wouldn't have cut around this. Again, fuzzy logic, balance. When do you want the car to cut around traffic? When do you not? And does it make sense to allow me to be able to kind of quickly say, no, go this way instead? I know that the map knows that there's, no traffic, no problem. So, not a good decision. So, I don't know if we call that a map issue or what, but here we go. All right, so just a little bit of hesitation in the turn. So I'll tell you just some kind of immediate feedback here, and it's not even that dark. We should have really good visibility. I don't have any notifications telling me that there's issues with the camera, so just a little weird behavior kind of this morning as the sun's coming up here. We are definitely still kind of in a phase of this technology where you need to pay attention. It is not ready for you to take a nap in the backseat. You've got to be here. You've got to be ready to still kind of make some human decisions at times. But I have no doubt in my mind that we are close to a world where you will not need a driver in the seat. Slowing down a little bit here to let this Toyota merge into our lane. Traffic on the left here. We're gonna let it pass and then go ahead and merge onto the highway here. We are in hurry mode, and I've said it in other videos. So 13.2.9 has seemed to be a little bit more fluid in hurry. 13.2.8, I felt like it made unnecessary decisions at times. In fact, usually my rule was hurry on the highway and standard kind of on the back roads or off the highway. Since 13.2.9, I've been leaving it in hurry, and up until this morning, I've been fine with it. And it's hard to say. Maybe, you know what I'll do? Maybe the next time I take the trip in, I'll leave it in standard the whole time, try to leave about the same time, and see if it behaves any differently. See if we can't get a little bit more air up on the camera here. I've had it overheat even with the battery out of it. It was in the middle of the afternoon, you know, in the Model X here, we've got this huge, just beautiful windshield. But it does let a little bit more heat in this area here if you don't have your air set right. And we even have the front window tinted on this one. Flower Mound Police running in this morning. I haven't been pulled over in tests yet running FSD. That's another experiment that I'm kind of running with. You know, when you're in hurry mode, if you have your offset at 50%, FSD will run it. Straight up run it. She'll do 80, 85, and a 70. And, you know, my whole life, that's ticket territory. Usually when I'm driving, I don't like to go faster than 5. I don't have a radar detector, and I just don't need to drive 100 miles an hour wherever I go. So it's not that I'm a speed demon. I do appreciate that FSD runs it like that. I feel like it gets me where I need to get a little faster, usually, unless it does a weird detour. So maybe one of these days we'll have a video up on the channel where we're getting pulled over, and I'll post that. That'll be fun. Flower Mound Police exits the highway. So we do have a little bit of morning traffic here, nothing too hairy, but a few other people on their way in with me this morning. Doing a good job of sticking with the flow of traffic here. Cruising at 76 and a 70. So if you're new to the channel, we have another series called the FSD Uber Experience, where we take this Model X around in Uber and kind of capture the conversations of passengers as we take them to their destination using FSD. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah, so 0.2 miles outside of our exit here. And we had this Kia merge. We've got an 18-wheeler behind us. FSD 13.2.9 slowed down a little bit to let the Kia merge in. So we did make it over in time for our exit here. We should exit, and we don't. We miss our exit. That was our exit. So I don't know why we didn't take the exit. That is not the first time that FSD has missed that exit. I almost wanted to take it, but we'll see what it does. I wonder why it's missing the exit. It got over, it could have taken it, and it just didn't. And I wonder if that's because it just waits so long to kind of get over. And so here it looks like it's wanting to take this exit, but it didn't. It's not following the map data. So we should have taken that exit also. Some exit challenges on this trip this morning. So it doesn't worry me. I know that we'll figure it out. But again, like that's our ramp right there. That's where we need to be. And we missed 2 opportunities to hop on that. And you can see there's no traffic here. And if I zoom out, again, there's not a traffic situation going on here. That's our route. So we missed the exit. We missed 2 exits. So now I'm really curious about what this drive looks like if we're not in hurry mode. Is hurry mode the problem? So it looks like the map is telling us to exit here, which it can't because that exit's closed. So what I'll do is I'll make a whole nother part 2. I think maybe we'll do it tomorrow. We'll leave about the same time and we'll run the whole thing in standard mode, not hurry, and see if it behaves differently. We shouldn't have missed our exits. All right, so it looks like we have successfully exited the highway here. How unfortunate. How unfortunate. And if there's anything that I can complain about, I will say, and if I again, I haven't been like scientifically documenting it. It just seems that when I'm in hurry mode, it does that much more often. We miss exits. Anyway, back to the video. So we've got some traffic built up here. You can see it on the map, and what we need to do is pretty quickly negotiate over, and it looks like the F-150 is going to let us in. Very nice. So no problem getting over here. And we'll take this right-hand turn and make our way back over to where we're supposed to be. Interesting that the speed limit on the instrument cluster here is 60, which is clearly not true. Unfortunately, FSD knows that's not true, so we're not trying to do 60 on this road. Nice left-hand turn in the middle lane, immediately getting over into the far right. Not messing around this time because we've got some more turns to make ahead. We've got a lane closure up here on the left. You know, I thought it would be fun to make videos showing how FSD behaves in construction zones. And I thought, wow, I hope I get to find a good opportunity. And I must have forgotten that all of Texas is pretty much constantly under construction. It's not hard to find a construction zone in Texas. So far we have 2 disengagements. One was by choice because I didn't want to follow the navigation recommendation there, but it was still bad data, bad decision. Potentially a third one if I weren't just trying to show the experience and how the car behaves and makes decisions. I probably would have taken over to make sure it took the exit over onto the President George Bush Turnpike there. So maybe we call it 3. Let me know. Even though I didn't, I would have under normal circumstances. I need to come up with some kind of a ranking system on those, right? So like there's a difference between critical disengagement. The car was going to do something unsafe. 2, I don't like the decision it made. That's not a critical disengagement. And probably even a lower level disengagement. The interesting thing about the President George W. Bush Turnpike exit that it missed, that's the second time it missed it, which is a pattern, in my opinion. But prior to that, it never missed it before. It always took it perfectly. So something changed. Now up here is another area where we make a mistake. You can see here on the map that we have this immediate U-turn, and that is a turn only into the U-turn, but it's right before our turn. So on the map, you can see that it's, in my opinion, it's pretty clearly marked here. We have this U-turn and then an immediate left turn. But the turn lane is for the U-turn, not this. And FSD confuses that. I've reported it a couple of times. I have reported it a couple of times to Tesla. Let's see if any improvements have been made here. First time I'm trying this turn in 13.2.9. But if I'm being honest, I don't have high confidence this morning that we'll see any improvements here. So there's the turn lane, and it's going to go into it. So we are going to disengage. We'll report it. That U-turn is a turn-only lane. Our turn is directly after the U-turn. And so FSD is incorrectly entering the turn-only lane for the U-turn in that situation. Okay, so it interpreted it incorrectly. That's the third or fourth time I've reported that into Tesla. Hopefully they address that in the near future. But it's an example, again, of you just need to be aware. So if you're driving in an environment that you're unfamiliar with, oh, and it's not going to slow down for the speed bump. Wow. Rough run this morning, rough run. So we have a human walking down the middle of the street here. FSD recognizes the human, slows down. You can go now. Oh my goodness, I'm glad I didn't go. He has no clue that we're here. Wow, oblivious. All right. Good luck with that, sir. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take it. We're going to go park. Interesting ride-in this morning. I'm going to call it 4 disengagements, maybe 5. I'll check the tape and throw it in the comments. Disappointing this morning. Overall, always a great experience. Always love riding in the Tesla with FSD. A little disappointed about missing the exit. That's a little unnecessary. And some of the decisions that were made this morning, I'm not a big fan of. So there you have it. Some days are like that. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of that. Very, very interesting. Well, as always, thanks for riding along. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you in the next one.